Covering this whole thing, I've only talked about NWA's involvement with AEW once. Just once, and that was Thunder Rosa versus Ivelesi or Evilesi. I'm pretty sure I butchered the name wrong. Sorry, and that was a very stiff match between them because things did seem to go wrong between the two. But that was back on my original channel, which did do well in terms of viewership and attention. But let's move on from that. We're talking about the NWA partnership with an NWA contracted superstar taking on an AEW contracted superstar. Thunder Rosa of NWA finally takes on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And this was one of the matches I was royally hyped up for regarding AEW's Beach Break episode of Dynamite, because me and another content creator group, Dynamite Download, which did land an interview with Thunder Rosa, and I am certainly not depressed and saddened that they managed to land the interview before I could. Lucky, lucky, lucky. They win this round. And they landed John Silver and they got featured on Fightful, so congrats to them on that. Uh, but yeah, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, this is a match that me and the guys from Dynamite Download were advocating that this should get, at the very least, co-main event billing. They have rightfully earned it. Like Kenny Omega and his storyline definitely had earned the right to be the closing main event show, but I thought Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker was the storyline that had rightfully earned the right to co-main event the show, be the second to last match before the closing show, or be the match that sets the prelude atmosphere for the main event. And considering how the main event ended with the Forbidden Door being kicked down, which is a still awesome moment, because now we have something to look more forward to than ever with AEW and all their shared universe they're trying to build up once more that hasn't been seen since the territory days. But yeah, yeah, and you already saw my video on that part. So Britt Baker and Dr. AK DMD, also known as Did You Know She's a Dentist, because they don't ever shut up about it. Yeah, that's one of the biggest annoyances I have with the Britt Baker stuff. How the announcers say, like, oh, don't forget, she's a dentist, because you all have to be brain dead not to see all the obvious symbolism they do. Like jaws, teeth, surgery equipment, the fact that she's titled herself Dr. DMD. We are apparently too stupid to know that's a criticism I have with AEW, like the constant need to bring up how, oh, she's a dentist, she's a dentist, she's a dentist. Like, I'm not saying her being a dentist and getting her degree is a great thing. It's awesome, but like I'm pretty sure after the first billion times, I think we got it. She's a professional wrestler by night, and she's a dentist by day, essentially. A real life comic book superhero. Except now that she's using her dental skills to torture people in terms of AEW wrestling. And even incorporated some of that storyline with Big Swole, who is still on the unknown, pretty much having lurking on dark, I believe. So I thought this should be a match that should definitely had rightfully earned the shot to co-main event the show. Sadly, that did not happen. So I was like, okay, could you at least give us close to 15 minutes? I'm like, it would be awesome if you gave us 20 minutes of them. In fact, it would have been more awesome if they gave us a total of no DQ, because this is a match that's been building for months, like since, November, which is another example of AEW's awesome long-form storytelling structure since November at the very least. The match was supposed to happen on New Year's Smash, but then got canceled. And Britt Baker was like, well, you see, I'm an AEW wrestler. She's an NWA wrestler. Therefore, she doesn't deserve to fight me because she's not contracted by us. Yeah, I'm like, you have a point, Britt, but like, you showed your face in NXT and they broadcast you on there. Then they later edited you out a year later because Vince is petty like that. Yeah. So yeah, you turned into a meme, which is telling on how they see you. Uh, and now she has a chance to prove herself, fighting Thunder Rosa in one-on-one combat with her assistant Rebby by her side. And oh my god, this was a 13-minute matchup. 13 minutes of them just trying to kill each other. Like, there's no room for subtlety anymore, everyone. We gotta get these two women to kill each other in the ring. And it was absolute hell between the two, especially when you got Death Valley drivers being thrown everywhere like half the time. Yeah, they got 13 minutes and 10 seconds. And some people still wish they went on a lot longer just to, get a feel, get the more excitement up. And also, I kept saying co-main event billing. But I also felt like no DQ should have been added because of how long this feud's been going on. It should have been a spectacle for us. Instead, we had to get the Miro and wedding stuff because we had to bring in the guy whose last official wedding officiation was ended in tragic attempted murder, and Valkyrie's fate determined to be either prison in WWE or rejoicing lucky sentence in AEW. Or Baltimore. She can hang out with the people in Baltimore. But yeah, that was ultimately the decision. So in a world where we got New Japan, AEW, TNA, Impact Wrestling, as it's now called, all in NWA, all in one night, might as well just make this a massive pay-per-view event. All out, all in, Battle of the Belts. But let's get back to my non-tangent expressing viewpoint of how everything is right now currently getting awesome in AEW, and now they're finally taking the women seriously. This match was 13 minutes and 10 seconds long. This was a match that needed to be everything it needed to be. Just have these two women just cut the wrestling stuff out and just try and kill each other. Mostly Thunder Rosa for the amount of disgrace she's been given by Britt Baker and her lovely assistant. And the way it ended, so yeah, I'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, this was I believe they only did one commercial, which is awesome, just one commercial, and they managed to not really give big things away, and most of the match was focused on them and not on the overly used picture-in-picture status. This because we have to get them advertisers in. I don't think I can forgive them, at least because they're a rising company and they're only like a year and a half old. So yeah, they're just tearing each other apart. Thunder Rosa nailing Baker with a Death Valley driver outside the ring, and every time I look at that Death Valley driver now, I'm reminded of another guy in NXT that does it. I'm sad now. I'm really sad. I'm really sad now that I can't think of anyone else doing the Death Valley driver other than the one guy who certainly should not be in the forefront of my mind, and considering what came out about him. Oh, all that potential wasted with debauchery. So anyways, before I get more depressed about what happened in June and what came out about that, I'm pretty sure I'll be saving that for something else down the road. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa tore the house down this match. Sadly, it was not. There was a couple of spots and there was a bit of a messy thing with the finish, but I did like the finish, how the Thunder Rosa really sold it well. She did look legitimately KO'd, and I was like, is she selling, or is she actually half dead right now, half conscious? I'm gonna go with death. That's much darker. She looks like she just got TKO'd, and the ref had to call the match because, she's TKO'd. And at least in this one, it made sense instead of, Hell in a Cell. We all remember that disaster. And yeah, the referee checks on Rosa and she's out, and he calls for the bell as Britt Baker puts in the lockjaw on her, and Britt Baker gets the victory. So I at first was thinking Thunder Rosa was going to get the victory over here, but the way they've been building up Britt Baker, and now that she's been announced for the tournament, I have a prediction to be making. Revolution. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, aka the dentist who will never shut up that she's a dentist, taking on Hikaru Shida for the AEW World's Women's Championship and a hopeful classic. And in the end, the Doctor dethrones Hikaru Shida, aka the Tifa impersonator, in an awesome matchup that shall lead into All Out, where Thunder Rosa will defeat Britt Baker and reveal that she does belong here because she has signed an official contract with AEW once her NWA contract expires. Because that would actually make sense and actually follow through with things that she could still be signed with NWA, but she has a contractual obligation to sign with for AEW after she leaves NWA, which will be an awesome moment to see her on TV if she wins the title. So yeah, I definitely see Britt Baker winning the tournament and going on to fight Hikaru Shida at Revolution and getting the victory over her and taking the title, having a long reign, trying to just make certain she avoids Thunder Rosa. And Thunder Rosa finally gets her revenge, taking the title, signing the contract, proving she belongs here, with the contract set to go into effect officially when her NWA contract goes out within the year, because that's what's reported, that she's signed till the end of this year. So come on, AEW, let's do this. This has to be the idea route, right? This is the route you're going with, right? Like, that's the hopeful route. They could probably do a twist and turn with Thunder Rosa screws Britt Baker and leads into a hopeful lights out match, because that certainly is worthy of it. And we haven't had a lights out match in a while. We're going to get a no DQ false count anywhere match, but not a lights out match next week at the time of this video. So really, any way can go with Kenny Omega and Kenta hanging out. But this match was pretty damn good. Yeah, like I said, there was a couple of botches here and there, and at times when she kept using the Death Valley driver, I was thinking, okay, how is she kicking out of this, especially after landing on the steps when she got the Death Valley driver? How did she kick out of that? Like, there was some parts I was like, no, that doesn't work. That can't work, especially when you use it in such a short amount of time between each other. But yeah, Thunder Rosa is strongly protected in this match with a TKO. Britt Baker defeats her and gets a major victory as she is set to fight in the tournament with Thunder Rosa involved, which means hijinks shall ensue. So get ready for that insanity when that comes around. And I'm looking forward to that tournament. It should be another big boost shot in the arm for the women's division in AEW, and with the potential of Stardom getting involved, since New Japan owns Stardom, I think everyone wins in this. So yeah, Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, a good quality matchup with a noticeable few errors and me having some choice decisions made in that match, but a strongly protected finish that protects Britt Baker and protects Thunder Rosa, setting the stage for another rematch between them down the road, or probably in the tournament as well. We'll have to see where that goes down. This was Neo Reality Entertainment presenting the WrestleVerse. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out my other content and the other channels in the description below. And search them up in the search tab. Stay tuned for more. I'll see y'all next time, and yeah, I am so enjoying all this. We are all elite.